Literature Festival after 1, and up next the Inspired Cookbook, which has been put together by Benton from Horsley. Carl is a personal trainer and is passionate about food. Aren't we all, darling? During lockdown, he created a family cookbook with contributions from some real-life Gloucestershire culinary legends, which we'll hear more about later. All monies raised from the book will go to Stroud Women's Refuge. I've been to meet Carl at his home. Carl attempts to cook one of the recipes to demonstrate that really anybody can put these simple meals together. This is perhaps the craftiest interview I've ever done because it's all based around me getting a free lunch, which is excellent. Carl, you're cooking me lunch then. This is great.
I am. It's a very sneaky thing, but it's my pleasure to cook you lunch because it's coming from our lovely book.
It's beautiful. I've just had a flick through. So we've got recipes in there. We've got a little bit of wisdom and philosophy, and also some touching stories from women who have been at the refuge in Stroud. So how did this all come about?
A seed had been sown several years ago in my head that recipes for clients is a good way, putting a book together or something for my clients would be a good way of celebrating our 20th anniversary. Just the belief is that everybody knows somebody that can help. The idea was born. I contacted the refuge, they were happy for it. So I started to contact chefs, restaurateurs to see if we could get a book together.
So you're not a chef and you're not an author. So what is it that you do?
I'm a personal trainer and I own a personal training business and chiropractic clinic in South Woodchester with my wife. And say it's called Personal Best and it's our 20th anniversary. But we do a whole host of things there. It's not just personal training and chiropractic.
And obviously diet is a really big part of staying healthy.
It is, and it's often the part that's overlooked. And by no means what we're going to have in the book is all about healthy eating. But, you know, what it's all about actually just thinking about what you eat. And if you think about what you eat, rather than just being geared by what the supermarkets or TV tells you to eat, then you think it's just an amazing part of your day to actually sit down and eat a meal that you prepared yourself. It's
always an amazing part of my day. I just love food and I love preparing it, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to prepare one of the recipes from your book.
That's correct.
And we'll talk about what else is in the book as we're prepping.
Sure.
So I'm going to be your sous chef today. I should have washed my hands really.
So today we've got salmon. And it says salmon on papillote, but it's basically salmon wrapped in tin foil. And this is an easy sort of meal that you could just rustle together in less than sort of 5 minutes and cook it in 15 minutes, but you'll have something that's really tasty on the table in under 20 minutes. So we've got some salmon that's already been filleted and it's just from the local supermarket, nothing flash. On some tin foil, I've got some mushrooms that I've sliced up finely, green beans that I've sliced finely, and I'm going to just slice some carrots with a potato peeler, so I've got some thin strands, and all that is basically going to go in the parcel with the salmon. But to make it really tasty, we're going to make a dressing, and that dressing is going to be using miso paste, which again is easy accessible, some sesame oil and water, and that's just going to cook in its own juices for around about 15 minutes.
Sounds amazing, Carl.
Sounds good.
You mentioned salmon there, and this is just some fish that you've picked up from your local supermarket, and I think a lot of people think, oh fancy, oh salmon, and it's not, is it? You can get it so cheap nowadays.
You can, and cheap is, it doesn't necessarily mean to say it's good, but you know, if you can add some flavour, this salmon, you know, if you put it with a wild salmon, it's going to have zero flavour. But if you're looking to get a good source of protein and you want some fish oils, this is going to be here. But you know, what's going to make this is the sauce that goes with it. So, but we could replace this with other fish. You could use chicken, you could use tofu, you could even forget about that protein at all and just use the vegetables and make the sauce. So I think that's what people have got to start to adapt is, you know, have a few ingredients you can use, but actually adapt them to so many things.
Well, should we crack on putting it together? Is there anything that I can do to help?
Is that the royal we?
Yeah, I'll just watch you.
So as I said, we've got the salmon laid out. I'm just going to just toss a few bits of, these are sort of wild mushrooms. So my carrot, which I'm just going to use a potato peeler and just slice down. So I'm just peeling it so I get some nice sort of strands of carrot.
Oh, you're good at this, Carl. We could do a TV programme, couldn't we?
Yeah.
This
it's all
is
prepped
excellent.
up, yeah. And that just goes on there, not from a great height like Ainsley would do, but it's going to be all prepped up. So I'm now just spooning on my miso, sesame oil and water that's all been made into a paste that goes on top there. Doesn't matter how it looks.
Carl, can I just say, this is amazing because you haven't used a single saucepan.
Not at the moment, no.
This is all in one.
Yeah.
How easy is
Bit of
this?
salt, pepper, and say it's just a little parcel that is just going to go into a preheated oven. So I'm just guesstimating that the oven temperature is going to be around about 180. That's my tin foil just being wrapped up into a little parcel. The book probably tells me to do it much neater than that, but we're not on TV and it doesn't really matter, so that's fine.
That is dead simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that you did some prep before I turned up, but that was...
Well, all I did beforehand was just roll out some tin foil, take the salmon out of the bag, put it onto the tin foil, and then get a carrot, wash it, and that's it. So there's not really any prep. That now goes into a hot oven for around about 15 minutes. I'll set my timer so I don't forget because we'll chat away. And then we just add to that a thing that's called a ponzo, which apparently is a Japanese creation. This is Japanese inspired recipe. So ponzo is going to be some grated lime, a little bit of rice wine vinegar, but you could use just white vinegar, and then a little bit of soy sauce.
Easy.
So again, most people have soy sauce. So you just combine all those with the lime juice, and that's just going to be poured on top to just really bring everything up.
I know I'm saying it's easy, and so I'm watching somebody else put it together. So easy. And like I say, nothing was used like saucepans or anything like that. It's all just all in one, dead easy. And more coming up from Carl Benton after 11:30.